Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our lesson today. Now, today we're learning to understand the feeling worried. We're going to be talking about our emotions, and this emotion in particular, worry. We're going to be talking about how it makes us feel, what it looks like, what it sounds like, and how we can understand that emotion in other people and see how they're displaying that emotion. Now, some of the things I'm looking for today are I can use different words for worried. Now, we call different words synonyms in English, but today we're going to try and think of some different words for worried, because worried isn't just one feeling, it's lots of feelings that kind of feel the same, isn't it? Another thing we learn to do is describe what worried looks, sounds and feels like. Now, this is important because if we can understand what something looks, sounds and feels like, we can see it in other people, but we can also see it in ourselves. And once we can understand an emotion, it then helps us to manage that emotion, and that's really important because we need to be able to manage our emotions, not just know what they are. Finally, we're going to use the feeling worried strength bar to rate some different emotions and to put them into different places, because not all emotions are the same, are they? And this is our feeling strength bar, but we'll come back to it in a moment. Now, it can sometimes help us to understand our emotions by using different names and by talking about different words that mean the same thing. Now, in English, as I said, we call these synonyms, but lots of emotions have synonyms as well. So let's have a think together. What are some of the different words that mean the same as worried? Have a think, call out your answers. Yes, one could be anxious, isn't it? Anxious. I'm anxious about a test tomorrow. I'm anxious about having to go to a new sport next week. And we can also have scared. Excellent. Yes, scared does mean the same as worried, or it can have the same feelings. What are some other words? We have unsure. That's a great answer. Yes, you can be unsure. I'm unsure of what's happening after lunchtime. I'm unsure of what I need to do when I finish this activity. That's a great answer. We could also have afraid. Yes, worried and afraid often go together, don't they? You're afraid of what's going to happen next. And then we have those same feelings, afraid and scared, often go together too. We could have doubt. I'll put that one right over here. Yeah, doubt is another word for worried. It tells us what we're worried about, what's going to happen next. We've got doubts about what will happen in the future. That can have the same feelings. Any more answers? Uneasy. Yes, that's a different feeling as well that means the same as worried. We have an uneasy feeling about something that's going to happen in the future. And that's often when we're worrying about things. Often we worry about things that are going to happen. They're going to happen in the future. We can worry about things that we've done in the past, but often we worry about things that are going to happen in the future. And sometimes my answer for this one is we're thinking about stuff. But in particular, we're not thinking about stuff that's really positive. We're thinking about the things that are going to go wrong. In our brain, we can't stop thinking about all of the different things that might happen in a negative way. So there's some different words that mean the same as worried. I'm going to leave them there for a moment. And I want us to look at our strength feeling bar. We've looked at this in other lessons before. I'm going to hold it down there so I don't have to hold it. I want you to think on the strength feeling bar where you are at the moment. 0 is okay. You're feeling good. You're not great, but you're not really worried either. Everything's normal. Over here at number 4, that's feeling really relaxed. That's sitting on the beach in the sun working on your suntan. That's playing video games at home, maybe snuggling on the lounge in your pajamas. Over here, this is really worried. This is when things feel so bad that we might explode. I'm going to give you some examples. For instance, now I'm feeling number 4. I'm really relaxed. I'm in the classroom. We work together every day. I'm a teacher. It's my job. I'm relaxed. There's nothing to worry about. This is my normal day. But suddenly the principal walks in. he's going to watch me teach a lesson. Now I'm feeling okay. My hands are a little bit sweaty, maybe my underarms are a little bit sweaty, my pulse is going a bit faster. I'm feeling a little worried. I'm okay, I'm not going to be overwhelmed because I still know that the principal, he's my friend and he's here to help us and he's here to teach us. So I'm not feeling overwhelmed. I'm just feeling okay, but it's definitely not my normal. But then the principal says, Mr. Paulson, you've got to jump on an aeroplane. And suddenly I go from feeling okay all the way up to feeling very worried because I am really scared of flying. That's one of the words we put over here before. Scared. In fact, I might even be afraid of flying. It makes me feel anxious. And as soon as he sees that, there are some body signs. My eyes go wide, my heart's going as fast as it can. Maybe my brows wrinkling and I'm starting to tap or shake. I'm feeling really, really worried. So, what we are going to do today is you are going to do some role plays for me and we are going to try and guess. Well, not guess, we're going to be detectives and we're going to use the clues of what we can see, feel and hear to help us understand your emotions around feeling worried. So, I'll go over that again just in case. We're going to have a role play. You're going to think about something that you've written down earlier in the lesson. Earlier in the lesson, you wrote down a couple of situations that make you feel worried on our little post-it notes. You're going to choose one of those and you're going to come up and you're going to act it out for me. And then we're all going to try and use our feeling strength bar and our worry words and our see, feel and hear to get some clues to help us understand how you are feeling. All right, do I have a volunteer? Excellent, up you come Eli. You're going to volunteer for us and we're going to use our clues, use our feeling strength bar to see how you feel. Great job, Eli. That was an excellent piece of acting. Lucky we're not doing drama at the moment though, we're doing an emotions lesson. So, does anyone think they know how Eli was feeling? Yep, excellent. He was feeling worried. Where do we think he was feeling on our strength bar? If he's feeling worried, he probably wasn't in the green zone. So he's probably going this way from okay. But let's use some of our clues to help us understand where Eli was feeling. So, Eli was lining up at the canteen and he was worried that he was not going to have, or they were not going to have, his favourite ice block when he got to the front. So, what was Eli doing? What were some of the clues? Yes, he was looking all around. He couldn't stand still, could he? He was very fidgety, very anxious. He was putting his hand up and then he started to do a little bit of pushing in the line. If we looked at his eyes, they were really wide and he just didn't seem very calm, did he? So I think we could say Eli was over here. He was number 3. He was feeling, I guess, not really worried, but medium worried. I don't know if medium worried is a word. If I was to look at our word chart, I would say that he was probably unsure or even uneasy. He was unsure if they were going to have his food and he was uneasy about missing out. I don't think he was afraid and I don't think he was scared, but he was definitely worried or uneasy about missing out because he really wanted that and he'd been waiting all day for that ice block. Let's ask someone else to come up now. Excellent. Jensen, thanks very much. Can you do your piece of acting for us? Great job, Jensen. Fantastic acting. So Jensen was in class and he was pretending that he was about to get a test. What clues was Jensen showing us? What could we see? What could we feel or pretend what Jensen was feeling? What could we hear that Jensen was doing to show us that he was worried? Well, we could see that as soon as we started talking about having to do a test in class, Jensen started fidgeting on the floor, didn't he? He started fidgeting, he started kicking the person in front of him. So we could see that he was not following our classroom rules. Obviously, he wanted to get out of that activity, didn't he? How did he feel? Well, you could probably see that his face was really lost its colour. His body was really tense up. His shoulders were up and his hands were tight. He didn't look relaxed, did he? He didn't look like he was laying on a beach. He was over here somewhere. And what could we hear? Well, we could hear Jensen, and even though he didn't say any swear words, he was pretending to say some swear words. And we know that those swear words aren't okay for schools. But we also know that Jensen doesn't usually use those swear words. So we could tell that he was probably feeling right over here, number 3. He was really worried. He was probably, if we use our feelings words, anxious. He might have even been afraid of the exam because he was worried about failing the test, even this pretend test. Well done, Jensen. All right, this time for our last role play, we're going to have 2 people come up. So we're going to watch both people in this situation. We're going to watch the person acting and their friend. So up you come, Sonara. I want you to show us your role play, but first I want you to choose a volunteer. Excellent, well done. Okay, let's watch their role play. Let's watch Sonara and Nevaeh do their role play together, and then we're going to talk about how they feel. Excellent, great role play. Now let's think, how did Sonara feel? Let's think, she was feeling, well, first let's talk about what she did. What was she doing? They were playing a game in the playground, weren't they? And Sonara went to ask Nevaeh if she could play, but as she was walking up, she was very nervous, wasn't she? She was biting her nails. She was walking really slowly. And I used one of those words that we have on here. Nervous. Well, I didn't have that, but maybe we can add that one in. Nervous. Yeah, that's an excellent answer there. Nervous. So she was feeling nervous. How about the other person then? What body signs were they showing? What clues were they giving us? Well, Nevaeh didn't know that Sonara was coming over, so she was playing, wasn't she? She was happy, she was outgoing, she was smiling, she was very relaxed. So we could see the difference there between Sonara, who was worried about asking her friend to play. She was tense, she was tight, she was probably feeling her heart racing because she was really nervous about what was happening. But Nevaeh, on the other hand, she was happy, she was already playing. She was really relaxed, her body was nice, her face was smiling, her shoulders were down, her brow wasn't furrowed. So well done, excellent. So that brings us to the end of the lesson. So let's quickly re-go over what we learnt about today. We've learnt to understand the feeling worried. We've used different words for worried. We've even described what worried looks, sounds, and feels like. And we've used the feeling worried strength bar. Well done.